Hi, Malika. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I love how we were reminiscing for a few minutes. Well, for me, it's reminiscing. For you, it's real time.
Okay.
But I like how we were talking a little bit about what it's like to still be on campus in stores.
Yeah.
I think there's two places. Well, there's two seasons in stores that are amazing, right? Fall and spring. I don't know if winter in
Fall
stores is
is
all that good.
fall is the best here. I love
You
fall
think
here.
so? Yeah, it's your
Yes.
favorite. Yeah.
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah, and it's we're starting to get, like, kinda like something that feels like fall, right, which is kinda cool.
Yes. The leaves have
Yeah,
finally started changing. I'm so excited.
that's amazing, that's great. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're here with Maleekha Fong, who is an undergraduate at the University of Connecticut, and that's how you and I kinda got connected, right, I saw an article about you in UConn today and what you're doing with your really cool venture that, I just thought was so inspiring, how you're combining, some of the concepts of wellness and really thinking about how you can take an entrepreneurial approach to solving that problem, and that's what, we're all about here is taking entrepreneurial approaches to problem solving. So maybe before we even get into Cozy Mind Club and the work you're doing, would you mind just like talking a little bit about yourself, kind of giving us a little bit of an introduction to you?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me, by the way.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maleekha Fong. I am a sophomore here at the University of Connecticut, and I am a psychology major with a cognitive science minor.
Mm,
I'm in a lot of clubs. A little about me. I love to write, so I'm in a club called Her Campus. It's a very awesome
mhm.
magazine that I love to write for. I think it's my favorite thing to do here. Lots of bonding. So I love just getting to know people on campus. I love going around and talking to people. I'm very much kind of an extrovert.
I love it. I love that you're an extrovert. That's amazing. So you kind of started to think a little bit about this cozy mind club, right? And the word cozy, I think, is very deliberate as part of how you're guiding what you're doing. Talk to us a little bit about sort of the inspiration or the moment behind that. We know that a lot of college students right now are going through a lot, right? They're going through a lot in terms of anxiety, in terms of managing their own wellness. So, was there a moment or an experience that led you to this point, Malika?
I really want to say it started, last year, my freshman
Mhm,
semester year. I was juggling, school, just life, being a freshman here at this in a different state in a new college. It was all so crazy, and I really didn't feel like I was finding a community that felt kind of gentle but also motivating to me. And
mm,
I think the word cozy, it just kept coming up for me in my, daily routines. I love to journal, I love to slow down, I love to go on
mm,
walks, and I realized that I wanted to create an environment that online that was, safe, that was warm and
mm,
approachable. And just the first word that came to mind when I was brainstorming was the word cozy because that's my
mm.
definition of it, is just something warm and approachable and just
Yeah,
safe.
and who doesn't like to be cozy, right? I mean, it's like it's like an amazing thing to be. Um, you also have this concept of, you talked about journaling and walking and some of these, self-help and sort of self-preservation techniques, but you have this concept too of mindful productivity, right? And kind of like meaning like I'm productive, but at the same time I'm mindful. Um, what does that mean to you, and how is that different, I guess, Malika? So we see a lot of this hustle culture online, right? And I do feel like some of the hustle culture is finally being surpassed by people who like you who are talking about, hey, it's fine to hustle, but you also need to have self-perseverance. But what does it mean to be productive but be mindful in your productivity?
I think I like what you were saying about hustle culture because
Mm,
I think I'm on social media so much, so I see it a lot, and
yeah.
people often, burn out from doing too much for striving for success, but they don't really take the
Mm,
time to be mindful about what they're doing. So I think
right.
how I would define, mindful productivity is it's all about moving at your own pace. It's all about aligning the things you do with your own values and leaving space for, you to take a breath, for you to kind of sit on it and see
Mm,
that it's about progress and not being perfect and not,
mm.
striving for this thing without taking the steps and remembering the steps that you took to get to that thing.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's great. One of the things that we're doing here at my university now, UMass Lowell, where I work, even though I was a UConn grad, I now work at a rival university. um, we're doing this concept of what we're calling a connection lab, where we're inviting students to come together and have conversations about the things that are bothering them, right? The blockers in front of them, whether those blockers be anxiety, whether those blockers be stress, whether those blockers be anything really, right? But then trying to think sort of with an entrepreneurial mindset and an innovative mindset to how can we start to help students move past those blockers? Like, what do they need to move past those blockers? And that's what I think attracted me so much to what you're doing with Cozy Minds is you're taking that same sort of entrepreneurial approach to this. But most entrepreneurs see a gap and they see a gap and they look at that gap and they go, we need to fill that gap, right?
Mhm.
What gap did you see, Maleekha, either at UConn or just in general that you felt you really kind of needed to gap you needed to fill as
Yeah.
it pertains to like mental health and the mental health community?
I think first noticed a gap just in different online spaces.
Mm,
Whenever I was feeling a certain type of way, like stressed or anxious, I would just turn to social media, and
yeah.
it just felt either very just too informative, all just facts, or it just felt very surface level with like quotes about positivity that wasn't really helping me. I mean,
Mm,
it like alleviated some things, but it wasn't really truly
yeah.
like inspiring me to take action on anything. So I
Mm,
wanted something that was kind of an in between of facts and that like positivity. I wanted something that was practical. I wanted something that was supportive, but where I also kind of felt like I was connecting with people.
right.
So that's why I kind of, I felt like I had to take that step and be vulnerable in Cozy Mind Club by showing who I am, showing the things I go through so I can hopefully inspire other people to take the actions that I take that have helped me.
And that's very brave. And
Thank
that's, inspiring because look, you could just kind of like worry about your own thing and not worry about anybody else.
you.
Or right, like you say, you hope that others will be inspired by what you're doing, or they'll take inspiration, or they'll say, "Oh, if Malika can do it, that means I can do it." Is that always been something inherent within you to kind of spread and try to help folks, or as opposed to just being like, "Hey, I got to worry about number one here, and that's it."
No, I would definitely say it's completely inherited. My parents, they're the same exact way. They love to help people, they love to serve other people, so I definitely got that from them.
Mhm.
But I've always been just that kind of person. I've always been that observational person. Like, if
Mm.
someone is feeling a certain way, I'll just be that, like, empath. Like, I'll empathize with them, and I'll be like, "Oh, I wanna help you. I want you to, like, see how great you are." And I've just
Yeah.
always been that way. Yeah.
That's cool. That's great, and that's inspiring too, right? And a lot of the folks, we get to talk to are in that same place of like, look, the status quo isn't good enough, so I'm gonna do the things I need to do for myself, like put on my own oxygen mask, but I'm
Yeah,
also gonna help others put their oxygen mask on too, right?
yeah.
That's great. You have this like multi-channel strategy that you're doing. Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of why that's important, Malika?
Yes. I love different platforms. I know everyone has, the one that they're really into. Yeah, everyone has that their favorite thing that they love, but I think it's smart to use these different platforms in order to spread awareness so you can
Mhm.
see it through different channels versus just seeing this one thing on this one channel and then kind of never seeing it
Mm,
again.
mm,
So for Instagram, I think that's my favorite is Instagram. I love using Instagram. I love seeing different visuals of tips and advice. So I wanted to use Instagram as that daily kind of touch point of just adding in my own visuals, affirmations, routines that I do. I
mhm.
think that was something that was really important to me was to start off with something that I personally loved.
And was familiar
And
to you, right? Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
And then for Ko-fi, that's a site not a lot of people have heard
I
of,
don't
but
I never heard of this site until I read
yeah,
your article. Yeah.
a lot of my friends have just never heard of it, and I was like, it's just a great space. It's a site for mostly, like, artists and creatives and people
Mm,
who kind of are feeling the same as me. So I wanted to have something a little deeper. I do audio affirmations. I have digital, like,
right.
journals that I've made in there. I wanted to have that, extra space. If you don't wanna turn to, like, these social media platforms, you can go to this website and you
Mm,
can find a journal or you can find an affirmation or a little, like, blog post I post so you can take some advice. And then for Pinterest, I think Pinterest, I have a lot of favorites. Pinterest is another favorite because it's a great place to turn to for inspiration and for
inspiration, yeah.
random ideas. So I love
Yeah.
just being able to post on there like random daily walks or daily routines that I'm doing and just have that kind of platform where you're not necessarily gaining a lot of, like comments or engagement, but people see it and people can be inspired from it anyways,
I
nevertheless.
love
Yeah.
I love that, and it seems like you have this very, um, systematic or creative process that you go through, and you kinda pick your themes, your tone. How do you do that? Is it just what inspires you in the moment, like you're on a walk and you see something that inspires you to pick a different theme? Is it from an experience that you've had? How do you do that part of the process?
I think it's a combination of both.
Really?
Sometimes I have these just spur in the moments where I feel like I need to post something, and then I'll just
Yeah.
immediately go and just post that with the colors that I want and whatever
Mhm.
matches the vibes. And sometimes I just kind of have it planned out, like, this is what I feel like I need today. This is the advice I would want to give myself today. If I needed a hug, this is what I would post, and I just post that.
A lot of entrepreneurs get caught up in the cycle of what we call perfect is the enemy of good enough, right? Because you're always trying to strive for perfection that you don't realize that the thing you've actually created is good enough. You
Yes.
have this progress, not perfection sort of mantra. Is that something you live by, Malika? Is like, let's just make progress?
It is. No,
Yeah.
I believe nobody's perfect. You can
Right.
I don't think anyone's perfect. I think life is a journey. It's all about progress that you're making, and it's never good to look at the end of a person's journey. It's always important to, embrace the steps that you take to get somewhere versus just wanting to automatically transport there and be there in that moment.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's kind of unrealistic, right? You have to think about doing some of the work to get
Yes.
there. Right. That's important. And showing up is important as well. Yeah.
Very.
Um, for the folks that are engaging with you, for the folks that are starting to kind of pick up what you're putting down, how are you interacting with them? Obviously within your social media channels, but are there other ways you're interacting? And then also, like, how are you recognizing that you're getting some momentum? Like, what are the indicators for you that you see momentum? Is it just comments? Is it likes? Like, what is it?
I think for me, I like to see the comments. I like to respond to comments a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just because I think my whole goal is not to I don't really care about the likes or views. I just wanna impact, like, one I always used to say if I can impact just, like, one person, if I can change,
Yeah.
like, one person's life, then I've kind of met my goal
Hmm.
versus getting all these views and likes, but not really getting any engagement. So I think
Sure.
I just love it when a person comments like this, "This really helped me," or "I love what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing." I think it's important to just kinda know that you're making an impact, just know that, one person was able to be influenced by me in a positive, notation.
Yeah, I mean, and those metrics become not only important to potentially the success of what you're doing, but then, like you said, knowing that you're making a positive impact, right?
Yes.
Knowing that it's one thing for someone to just double click and like it, but it's another thing for them to take the time to comment
Yeah,
and then for you to then reply to that comment and maybe they reply again. And now it's a dialogue and that's pretty
yeah.
cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's really cool. I want to talk for a minute about what you're doing with Werth. So you mentioned at the top of the conversation that you're pretty involved. You've got a lot that you do on campus, but the Werth Innovators journey and the first year Innovators program, is that what I guess is that a best
Yes.
way to call it? Tell me a little bit about that, how it kind of helped shape your approach and what you're doing with your entrepreneurial endeavor.
I think, my freshman year, I never really entrepreneurship wasn't something I was, looking for or going for. It kinda just
Sure.
popped up, and I was lucky enough to get the opportunity, but it
Hmm.
completely shifted my mindset on what entrepreneurship was. Because
Mm,
at first, I just thought being an entrepreneur is about just selling something. Like, you
right.
just have something, you're selling something, you're marketing something.
Hmm.
But going through the Worth program, it taught me a lot about my own values, and it gave me the space to kind of work with myself and see how I wanted to service other people. And it taught me a lot about building things with intention, and something that they emphasized a lot was progress, not perfection, which is why
Nice.
I love that
Hold
phrase.
that mantra, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
I love that
Yep.
phrase because
Yep.
they really emphasize not caring about, like, what you do at the like, it doesn't matter the result. It matters the steps you take to get there. It matters what you're doing to get to that place to do what you love. It's the steps that
Mhm.
matter, and it really
Yeah.
impacted me a lot being able to just hear from other people at Worth and hear steps they took and get
Mm.
advice from all these different mentors. It really helped me wanna create something that actually serves people.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you mentioned the mentors. There's a pretty like structured mentor and peer support component, right? Where they try to what's the word I'm thinking? Intentionally put you with someone who shares your values, and then how did that unlock things for you at Cozy Vine Club?
Honestly, I thought it was a match made in heaven when I got paired with my friend. Yes, we are pretty much the same person. We have the same aspirations. I loved getting to talk with them. They were very much a friend to me. They're still, my friend, and
Mm,
they really helped me see any blind spots in the things I was doing or the way I
mm,
approached something. And when they gave me advice, it was more than just kind of like the business advice you think you get. It was
sure.
reassurance, and it was brainstorming and helping me, and she just reassured me so much that what I was doing, even though I didn't necessarily wanna put a product out there, it was still a valid path to take because I wanted to serve other people. So she
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
supported me.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times we do similar things here where we kind of remind folks that at the end of the day, this doesn't have to be a product that ends up on a shelf at Target or
Yeah,
Amazon or what have you. It can be a social innovation that is really impactful to you and then hopefully, therefore, impactful to other people as
yeah,
well. Right. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And are you still connected with this mentor? Are you still
I
working
am,
together?
yeah. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. That's
Mhm.
great. And how did it culminate from being part of the first year sort of women Worth Innovators program, and did the UConn today follow that closely, or has it been some distance between coming out of the Innovators program and your interview with UConn today?
I think they were following it closely from what I kind of saw. It
Could
was a little bit.
understand. Yeah,
Yeah. It was a little
yeah.
bit after the program had
Uh-huh.
ended, they contacted me, and I was like, "Of
Okay.
course, I'll speak on this."
Yeah, yeah. What was that? What was it like to be interviewed for that?
That was my first interview. I was very shy. I was very nervous, but it was so great to just talk with someone and share what I'm doing like I'm doing here. It was amazing.
And did you like the way it came out?
Yeah, of course. I love
Yeah,
writing. I love reading, so it was
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece,
Yeah.
and, I'm grateful for it because that's how you and I got
Thank you.
connected, so that's really why I find it to be pretty fun. Um, let's talk a little bit about, student first. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got pretty big aspirations, like you said, you're a psychology major, I know you potentially wanna become a physician someday, or you do wanna become a physician. Let's talk about the blending of your academics and your self-care and cozy club and friends and family. How do you do it? Like, do you have a secret sauce or do you just kinda take it day by day?
I take it day by day. It is a work in progress. I
Yeah.
love just letting myself rest, but I also love to plan ahead. So whenever like
Mm,
studying comes up, I'll just plan that ahead so I know it'll
mm,
be a breeze since I have it planned out. And
yeah.
then self-care just happens for me all the time. I don't really
Mm,
have a select time for it. I just try to do it whenever I can. I try to
mm,
refresh myself whenever I can, journal whenever I can. And I
mm.
have a lot of different, personal hobbies that I love to do that I kinda consider my self-care that I can do.
I think that's a good way to put that, yeah. I think the kinda do what you can when you can sort of mantra, right, is really, really important in these
Mhm.
instances, and I like how you said it's not necessarily something you plan out versus, like, you just do it when you need to do it type of thing. Do you think sometimes people fall into that trap where they try to, like, specifically like, "Tomorrow I'm going to self-care," and then something comes up and you can't do it, now you feel stressed, do you think that's harder potentially?
I personally do just because it's the feeling of disappointment you get when you,
Right,
planned out something that you're gonna do and
right.
then you don't do it and you feel like, "Oh, I didn't keep this promise to myself." So I think
Mm,
it's just important to just give yourself that space, do it when you can,
mm,
don't plan that, don't put all that pressure on yourself to do it at this specific time every single day. I don't think that's.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know and there is something to be said for routine, like, I know, like, for myself, like, I have to do my morning routine or I do feel a little bit off if I
Yeah.
don't do my morning routine, right? But then there are some days, I will be honest with you, where I do intentionally break from the morning routine because, like, sometimes you just need a break from the routine too, right? And just mix it up a
You
little bit
struggle
is
sometimes, yes.
exactly, yeah, it can be even though, like, you don't feel it's a double-edged sword because sometimes you
Yeah.
don't feel right if you don't do your routine, but sometimes the routine is actually, like, holding
What.
you back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, it's amazing. You have this community that you've started to build, and it's starting to grow in its impact and intention. Have there been any, like, big sort of, like, surprise learnings or just surprises in general from the community that you kinda took you off guard so far?
Um, big
And
surprise.
Yeah, anything like you started with this community and you were like, "Oh, wow, I never expected that. I never expected to see that or hear that." Anything yet, or maybe not so much?
I think something I was trying to delve into was the idea of cozy gaming, and that was something that surprised me because my mentor and I, we didn't know that was a thing until I started looking into it. So it's the idea of just, I don't wanna say playing intentionally, but it's the idea of playing, like, I play games with a lesson behind it. So it'll be a game,
Mm,
with the lesson of like a lesson of anxiety behind it, or it'll be a
sure.
game based on stress or something. And
Mm,
I think I was playing and I would talk about it, and I would talk about how, I would talk about my interpretation of the game I was playing, and people actually resonated with it, which was kind of blowing my
that's
mind.
pretty cool. Yeah,
That it was
that is
positive
yeah,
based.
that's exactly what I'm asking about. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then are these games that just educate me a little bit more. Are these games that
Mhm.
you have created, or are these games that you find online, or like what are these games like?
These are games that I find online that I play and then talk
Okay.
about.
Okay, gotcha. Do you ever envision that you might create your own as part of Cozy Mind Club, or is that
I'm very open to the idea. I love trying new things, so I would love to try that, definitely.
yeah. Yeah,
Sounds
game design is it could be really fun. Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
really, really fun. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Obviously safety is important, right? And having a safe space and having inclusivity. What are some of the guardrails for you, Malika, both with Cozy Mind Club, keeping your community safe and supportive, but then just in your own also practice of social media? Where do you have your guardrails? And what advice, I guess, would you have for others?
I think my most important is just respecting people. I'm lucky to have not
Mm,
been met with anything that has to
yeah.
do with disrespect yet, but
Mhm,
that is a clear boundary I would set in, like, a Discord or something, a place where people will chat with each other, no triggering advice, no
mhm,
toxic positivity. But
mhm,
something else I would also probably form as a boundary is I try to model kind of vulnerability in myself so that
hmm.
people feel okay to also be vulnerable a little bit. And
See, yeah.
yes, I think safety is a lot about trust. So I
Mm.
think that by showing vulnerability, you're kind of building that trust, and it's something I really wanna protect. So,
Yeah. And is it a situation where you have started to see people at least be respectful of that, or have you had any? I mean, I don't want to like call anybody out or anything like
yeah,
that, but have you seen something, some behaviors and practices that were not what you were hoping for, or has it been pretty much the supportive and inclusive space that you desired?
I think it's been pretty much what I desired so far, actually.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. That's good to hear that people are sort of realizing that this is a welcoming space and that
Yeah.
they need to do their part to maintain that. Right. Yeah. I think especially as it pertains to mental health topics too, right? Because there's still a taboo, right? Sort of associated with mental health topics and people feeling comfortable and vulnerable to share. Right.
Yeah, it's important to have people who model that first, so they're
Mhm.
inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then do you have leaders within the community beside yourself? Are there people that can be like, administrators or how do you have that concept yet, or is it really not at that point yet?
Not really at that point yet, but it is
Yeah.
something I want to expand upon is getting more people involved with that.
Yeah, getting more people involved and kinda, like, have them play some sort of like I don't know if administrator is the right word to use, Malika, but,
I think
uh
it is. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, some sort of a so you would always kinda be at the top, but then having people that you can anoint into
Yeah.
maybe different channels or topics or something like that, right? Yeah. Monitors, I guess, would be
Yeah.
kind of it too. Yeah, moderators, that's the term I
Yeah,
was looking for,
that's
moderators. So you are, racing um, your entire career here as it pertains to psychology, in terms of medicine, in terms of your entrepreneurial spirit. We talked a little bit about how you're balancing it all, but what is kind of the next big, um, either milestone that you're driving towards right now, I guess, as it pertains to your club?
I think, something I kind of can announce here, I really wanted to create, something more physical, more so
Mm.
for me, but also, something that can be applied to other people, so I created a physical journal that I call Work in Progress, which is
Oh,
thus
that's cool.
yeah, it's a guided journal, it's for productivity, it's for, gratitude, it's for personal growth, it's something that really resonated with me. It's something I really needed and wanted to create and put out there to inspire people to take steps within themselves to just grow and to be grateful for who they are and the steps they're taking in
Mm,
their own lives. So
mm.
I just created that.
Wow, that's wow. And, again, not to be outdone, right? So you're starting with cozy mind clubs, and now you're actually taking it to another level with
Yeah.
this journal and creating solutions. Um, do you feel, more of a belonging on campus now, as a result of the work that you're doing, personally? Is that helped you as well to feel that belonging?
I think it's helping. I'm not gonna say
Mhm.
that it's completely, like,
Yeah.
dissolved any feelings I didn't have, but
Mhm,
it's definitely helping. It's definitely giving me the tools I need to take the steps to feel a little bit
mhm,
more just included here, but
mm.
I love what I'm doing, I love people I'm with, so I do feel that sense of belonging for sure.
Yeah, and it seems like another thing that's really important to you is kinda practicing these healthy relationships, right?
Yeah.
And having healthy relationship skills. Is there something there that you lean on when you're trying to do that in particularly?
Is something or
Yeah, or like is you have like when you're thinking about like practicing healthy relationship
Mhm.
skills, is it what is it grounded in, I guess, Malika? Is it grounded in you talked a little bit about this before with trust, but is it also grounded in like mutual respect or what are some of the other
Mhm.
things that empathy, I guess?
Yeah, I value connection a lot, so
Mm,
I do think that mutual respect is something that's important to have. I think being able to resonate, being an active listener is very
mm,
important to me.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
very I value connection a lot, so I think it's just being there, I think is very
yeah. Yeah, showing up, right?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As you think about the continued work that you're gonna do around trying to, um, remove social disconnection, anxiety, help close emotional distances for students, is your aspiration that this goes beyond UConn and into more universities? Or I guess when I think about, like, the people you hope to impact, is it mostly college students, or do you feel like this can go even beyond?
Um I mean, it could go beyond. Again,
Mm,
something I'm open to. I would love to see it have, a larger impact than here at UConn. That would be amazing to see people taking those steps for themselves. But just, I want to impact as many people as I can positively. So,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, yeah. And are there other resources on campus that you're tapping into now outside of Worth, or is it now you're kind of moving on and driving this forward on your own with your mentor? What structure do you have around you to help keeping you move forward?
I definitely want to work with my mentor. We do want to do different things coming up. I
Mm,
do want to get into contact. There are a lot of organizations on my campus that have to do with mental health. So I'd love to get in
sure.
contact with them, do different just themed nights, maybe show my journal. I would love to just do
Mm,
anything that would help. So,
yeah. Yeah, well, I know, like, in addition to Worth, there's, like, the Connecticut Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation.
yeah.
I don't know if you're starting to think about any opportunities to work within that accelerator program too? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've been told about it a lot, so I think I have to check it out.
Yeah, I think you should. Well, that's a good idea for a next step.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing I just wanna ask you, Malika, is, you spend a lot of time lifting up other people and working hard. Tell me about your posse, your community, like, who are your peeps that you kinda look towards?
Gosh, I definitely my friends, 100%.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
friends,
You feel fortunate to have a good friend group?
yes, I love my
Yeah.
friends. I have a lot of childhood friends that I've stayed connected with. I love
Mm,
because 'cause they're just people I trust, with my whole being. I've known them my whole life. I can
mhm.
go to them with anything. They have the same aspirations as me. I'm grateful to have people that I've known since I was little and I still have them today.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I can say this. I'm grateful that folks like you are trying to continue to tackle this challenging topic of well-being and wellness, especially in the college communities today, where we know there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of anxiety. So thank you for doing that work. How do we find you? Let's get some plugs in.
Thank
Where
you.
are you?
Yes, on Instagram, you can find us at Cozy Mind Club. Same with TikTok, Cozy Mind Club. Ko-fi, if you look up ko-fi.com/cozy mind club, I'll be there. But
KOFI, right?
yes, KOF.
Okay. Yeah.
But and my actual like, my personal Instagram, Mal_Fong, you can find all the links there, so
Okay, cool,
that's
cool.
probably what I should plug first.
But we'll drive people to Cozy Mind Clubs, right?
Thank
At
you.
Cozy Mind Club. Yeah, perfect. Maleekha, once again, thanks for joining us today and for telling
Thank
us
you for
about
having
what
me.
you're doing. Yeah, it's really important work, and thank you for doing the big work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this conversation. It really helped, and I hope that everyone is able to, grow and take something from this episode.
Awesome. Thank you once again.
Thank you.